What's goody YTBC? What's good fight fans, boxing heads around the world? B Marsh with another boxing video. So this is my controversial decision series, man. And this particular fight I'm about to talk about is Ali Funeka versus Juan Guzman, Little Tyson. You know what I mean? Juan Guzman was a Dominican who was based out of Brooklyn, New York. And the man, Funeka, was a tall South African, you know what I'm saying? A guy from East London in South Africa. You know, South Africa got a rich boxing tradition, especially that particular part of the country of South Africa where this Ali Funeka guy comes from, you know what I mean? And, you know, I think even Nelson Mandela, I think that's where he learned his skill of trade as far as boxing skills. You know what I mean? In East London, South Africa. So this was an IBF. They were fighting for the IBF. What was it? Lightweight. IBF lightweight title back in 2000, 2009. 2009, if I'm mistaken, you know what I mean? The man Funeka had just come from fighting Nate Campbell in a close decision, you know what I'm saying? Nate Campbell won a close decision. It's a fight, in my opinion, could have gone either way. You know, I think the difference was the man Funeka got dropped, I think, a couple times in that fight. And the man Juan Guzman, you know, Juan Guzman was here fighting for this vacant lightweight title. You know, he was a guy who came up from the super bantamweight. You know what I'm saying? He fought at 122, got a title at 122, a title at 130. And now he was going for his third world title, you know what I'm saying? He ain't get one at featherweight, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, this particular fight, man, we had the 6'1" Funeka fighting against 5'7" little Tyson or baby Tyson, Juan Guzman, you know what I'm saying? And this fight, man, it basically started off with the man Ali Guzman in the first two rounds was the aggressor, you know what I'm saying? Actually, these are the first two rounds right here in this film study. And the man Funeka was fighting on his back foot, and the man was being more aggressive. Guzman, that is, you know what I'm saying? He was coming in, throwing right hooks, overhand right hooks, you know what I'm saying? Left hand hooks, you know what I mean? He was going to the body early, you know. He was doing this thing in the first two rounds, you know. But one thing, before the second round ended, the man Funeka, he was throwing that jab, you know what I'm saying? He was throwing that jab, and he cut the man above his right eye, you know what I'm saying? This was right before the second round ended, you know what I mean? So now the third round, the man Ali Funeka sees blood. He's pumping his jab, man. He's steady pumping his jab, you know what I'm saying? Now he's following up with the right hand, which he wasn't doing in the first two rounds, you know what I'm saying? He was basically a one-armed fighter in the first two rounds, you know, which I had the man Guzman winning, you know what I'm saying? The man that man cut man name was Dudu Bungu. What a name. That's a funny name. Yeah, and the man Funeka was being trained by former IBF featherweight champion Vuyani Bungu. You might even remember Vuyani Bungu from his fight with Prince Nassim at featherweight. And Prince Nassim, I think he knocked him out in like 4 rounds. You know what I mean? Yeah, so Funeka in the third round is pumping his jab, throwing the right hand, you know what I'm saying? He's fighting from a distance, which ideally is the best place for him. And, you know, but baby Juan Guzman, you know what I'm saying, is he's on the other end of the jab, you know what I'm saying? And he's not really throwing any jabs. And he's getting peppered by that jab all night. And now his face is getting mashed up in the third round, man. He got a bloody nose. Man, his nose is leaking. He got that cut above the right eye. It's not, and now, you know, you can see his punch output is pretty low, you know what I'm saying? The man, Juan Guzman, was trying to, you know, now he's, you know, in the next few rounds, in the middle rounds, he's not really doing too much, you know what I'm saying? He's basically fighting, you know, he's basically fighting, throwing one punch at a time, you know, basically, he's not letting the trigger go. He's basically waiting to see what Funeka's doing. And Funeka all night he was throwing that Funeka was pumping that the jab all night in his face, you know what I'm saying? And this the man's Juan Guzman face was a bloody mess from the third round on all the way to the end of the fight, you know what I'm saying? Um, I gave round 7 to Guzman, you know what I mean? He finally got on the inside and he put his head on Funeka's chest, and the man was on the inside throwing hooks, throwing body shots, throwing looping right hooks and left hooks, overhand rights, But one thing, both of these guys were throwing punches with bad intentions, especially in the middle rounds, you know what I mean? The man, Ali Funeka, he had the more straight punches, you know what I'm saying? He had, he was basically more looking like the more fundamentally sound fighter, fighting behind his jab, kept a good balance, you know what I'm saying? Was stepping into his jab, was throwing the jab with intention, basically not just flickering the jab out there, but, really trying to land the jab on Guzman, you know what I'm saying? And this really deterred the man Guzman, to not really throw any jabs because he already conceded that his jab is not superior as Funeka's is. And Funeka's jab really was the key to his game plan, and it worked for him. You know what I'm saying? I basically had this fight. I had Funeka winning 9 rounds. You know what I'm saying? 9 out of 12 rounds. The one Guzman, especially the championship rounds, the man looked like he was out of it. Like basically he had given up. You know what I'm saying? He was being peppered by the jab. The man Funeka was throwing combos. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd throw a jab, followed by a straight right hand and then a left uppercut. You know what I'm saying? It was beautiful boxing that the man Funeka was displaying, especially after coming off that loss, that majority decision loss to Nate Campbell, a fight he also felt he won. He traveled all the way from South Africa and, he was fighting here for this lightweight title, and the man was really, he came, and this fight was in Canada, actually. You know what I'm saying? And he really wanted to bring back home that title, you know what I'm saying? Juan Guzman, he could tell the man, his punches to me weren't really, they didn't really have any power on them, you know what I'm saying? There were more looping punches, more punching with the open fist rather than, straight punching on the target, from the outside looking in, especially watching from TV, the impact you hear the punches, it sounds real hard. But, you could see he's throwing like open hand punches rather than, closing his fist and throwing with the knuckles and landing, you know, landing with bad intentions as opposed to Funeka's landing more straight punches, and his jab is getting through there. And, you should see this fight, man. The man Funeka was, man, he was punishing this guy, you know what I'm saying? Even at times when they would fight on the inside, he would throw vicious uppercuts, you know what I'm saying? And body shots, and vice versa for the man Juan Guzman. That was actually his best part of his game plan, would be try get on the inside, but he ain't do that enough. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do it enough. The man was struggling. You know what I mean? He was basically his best option was to keep that fight on the inside, but this man Guzman, I'm sorry, Funeka, he just kept the man on the outside. He kept it on the outside and he made sure that he fights from a distance. You know what I'm saying? So, in this particular fight, like I said, I had Guzman winning. I'm sorry, Ali Funeka winning 9 rounds out of 12, you know what I'm saying? 117, 111. And the judges scored this fight, man. This particular fight, I remember when I watched it back when, I was vexed that night, man, because, I'd really liked Ali Funeka and I liked his fundamentally sound skill set, you know what I'm saying? I thought, he barely edged the win against Nate Campbell, and I thought he definitely won this fight. Without any controversy, he won this fight, but the judges scored it a majority draw, you know what I'm saying? 2 judges had it a draw, and 1 judge had the W for what's his name? For Funeka for 116 to 112, and I couldn't be mad at that scorecard, you know what I mean? Um, The man Juan Guzman here, he got a gift on this particular night, and Ali Funeka was even speechless, man. You know his promoter Gary Shaw, man, he was outraged at the end of this fight. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those particular fights that I say is a controversial highway robbery. You know, there have been some close fights, you know, that have been controversial. Maybe like a fight like Canelo and Austin Trout, you know. But this particular fight, you know, that Canelo and Austin Trout, I feel could have gone either way. Maybe the knockdown was made the difference. But this particular fight right here, even a blind man could see that the man Ali Funika got robbed, and I think at the time, the man Juan Guzman being at lightweight, you know, I think he was the more marketable fighter for HBO. You know, at the time, the lightweights they had guys like I think Juan Manuel Marquez was the kingpin at lightweight them at them times. You know what I'm saying?